Hey guys, happy Social Work Month. Today I wanted to talk about something that I don't see that often, at least on this app, or honestly in this space in general. And it's the potential guilt that some social workers feel when they decide to work in a private practice setting, if they decide to be a therapist instead of a hospital setting or community mental health. And when I say guilt, I'm talking about this idea that because we're not working directly with disenfranchised groups, at least in the aggregate, we are bad social workers. I'm not going to assume that every social worker working in private practice feels this way, but when I first started out in private practice, I remember feeling immensely guilty. I remember thinking to myself, I chose social work for a reason. I'm so passionate both about mental health and social justice. So if I hold this passion for social justice, if I intentionally chose this route instead of an LPC or getting my doctorate in psychology, why am I working at a hoity-toity private practice? Why am I working with clientele who honestly are very financially stable, at least for the most part? Mind you, I do live in an affluent area. Northern Virginia in general is an affluent area, so I will say that. But regardless, that doesn't take away from the fact that I chose to work in a private practice setting. And no matter where I lived in the United States, I would have still chosen to work in private practice. And I'm going to explain why. To me, therapists experiencing burnout, especially social workers, is extremely prevalent. It's a huge issue that often goes unaddressed. You're expected to carry an intense caseload. And I'm not talking about intense in terms of just hours, but the specific population of people you're working with, right, or very acute issues. You're also working an insane amount of hours and you're working for low pay. Not to mention, you don't have that much agency on the type of population you want to work with. So if it's not your specialty, too bad there's a shortage. And I'm not saying that we don't need therapists in these settings. We absolutely do. But I had to take a real look at who I am as an individual and be honest with myself. I'm a neurodivergent girly that does not do well under stress. I do not do well when I'm forced into boxes that don't align with who I am and what I'm good at, what I'm passionate about, and where my skill sets are. It's the same reason I told myself when I was extremely young that I'd be a doctor, yet I kept failing most of my math classes and took intro-level bio in college twice. If I'm not good at it, if I'm not passionate about it, I don't thrive. And in this specific field of work, if you're not passionate about it, if you will not excel in it, it will directly impact your clients. And the last thing that I wanted is my burnout to then impact the work that I do. And let's be real, I have worked in community mental health. I've done in-home therapy. So I would go into people's homes and do intensive in-home services. Trust me, I've seen it all. So I didn't avoid that path simply because I assumed it wouldn't be for me. The thing that I love about private practice, besides the obvious work-life balance, is you can choose the type of population you want to work with. For instance, I am extremely passionate about trauma. I love how trauma can manifest in so many different ways, in anxiety and relationships. And so I work with clients that align with my passion so they get the best version of me. They get the quality of care they truly deserve. Because I'm showing up with a full glass. I'm not showing up drained. I'm not showing up resentful. I'm not showing up stressed or burnt out. Because I know that my capacity for that, not that big. And so I remember having to sit with this guilt, right? Of feeling like I'm not working with the population that I should be working with. Feeling like I'm the bad social worker. Because I don't want to be overworked and underpaid and forced to work with people whose issues that I can't nor will I specialize in, simply because it's not what I prefer, which is valid. That's like telling a dermatologist that they have to go into pediatrics simply because we need more pediatricians. That being said, I still want to work with underserved populations because at the end of the day, I did choose social work for a reason. And the thing is, in private practice, you can still do that. One of the things I truly enjoy is working with ethnic or gender or sexual minorities in these spaces, or religious minorities in these spaces, and understanding how the systems in place in their lives directly impact them. Having that understanding because of my background in social work has helped my clients feel so seen, heard, validated, and understood. But outside of a private practice setting, I do plan on going into advocacy work. I do want to work with economically disenfranchised populations and help them gain access to resources. I still have these plans for myself. And the part of social work that I find so amazing is that you don't have to pigeonhole yourself into one path. You can do multiple things at once. And the best part about private practice is flexibility, right? You choose your own schedule. So later on in my life, when I've strengthened my craft and I have a structured schedule, I will see my clients and I will do work on the side. I will work with the disenfranchised groups on the side, do the advocacy work that I'm so passionate about while still doing my day-to-day job in a private practice setting, working with populations that I feel passionate about and can also help as well. Mind you, I'm passionate about both populations. And the point in me saying all of this is the only path forward to being a good social worker is not just through community mental health. If that is something that you are passionate about and you are good at and you have the capacity for, that's amazing. But if people are telling you that if you don't work in that setting, you're selfish and you're money hungry and you don't care about those groups, please don't listen to them. There's so many other ways you can give back to those groups. So many other ways in this field outside of one-to-one therapy. Because trust me, I'm thinking about the future. I'm thinking about how I can show up for these disenfranchised groups and actually have the capacity to do all of that other work on the side without being burnt out.